guys, and welcome to my second video of my channel. Classic dyslexic move. I did my first video expecting to do one a week for you, and obviously life got in the way and I haven't managed to make another one since then. But I'm going to tell you in this video what's been going on with my life, like what's happened that's made me start posting for so long, and also just to give you a little bit of background on me. So my last video was all about affirmations and what affirmations to use if you are neurodiverse or dyslexic to help you work through low self-esteem or give you motivation. I really love to kind of bring together teachings of neurodiversity with coaching, with also holistic wellness. So I'm all about, what basically got me through really dark times when I was struggling with my mental health was, connecting to my body again, bringing out the spiritual side that I'd lost. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute before I go off on a tangent. But first of all, I'll just introduce myself if you don't already know who I am, because you should. No, I'm joking. But I'm Annie. I'm 29, nearly 30. It's that year, July, turning 30. I'm actually very excited to turn 30. I feel like for women, it's kind of put down a lot to turn 30 to get older, and the older I get, the more I feel freer in myself, the more I feel connected to who I am, the more I feel like I can be the person I want to be. I could never in a million years have got in front of a camera and started talking before, or I'm just passionate about all the things that are in my life, so I'm happy to be turning 30. So I am a mindset coach for women, for dyslexic women, and that's where my journey began. And that all came about through kind of finding myself and understanding my neurodiversity. So I think this is a huge thing for all people with autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and it's kind of a big movement at the moment because people for very, very many years, and their parents before them, have felt very much disillusioned, different, and confused and frustrated as to why life can feel so hard. And the issues are that, one, there isn't enough information about neurodiversity for people. I only learned about neurodiversity being a thing within the last couple of years, and I've been diagnosed dyslexic since I was 20 years old. I wasn't picked up as dyslexic throughout my school years, and I've come to understand now, which is what I do with my coaching, which is what I do with my ladies, is there's a huge trauma that you go through as a child when you are dyslexic and you are undiagnosed and you are being made to feel stupid every single day, and you learn certain masking, coping mechanism and strategies that you don't even realize you're doing to get through life. And I really struggled with my mental health. Lots of different, reasons for that. It's not just because of dyslexia, but it definitely, with research, 60% of undiagnosed dyslexic people have mental health conditions later on in life, or comorbid mental health conditions. So one or more things you can be having at the same time. So it can lead to eating disorders, it can lead to passive suicide, depression. And it makes sense, because if a child is being told, it's like gaslighting a child. It's like telling them you're doing things wrong when they're actually not doing things wrong. They've been given the wrong curriculum, like they've been given the wrong way of showing their intelligence. So that's what I do now. I also am a marketing lead at a charity that helps people with learning disabilities. So they support people with learning disabilities. And I want to talk about that because I kind of, 3 years ago, really made an effort to get into the coaching world, because I knew through COVID, I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to have my own online business where I could help people from my fingertips. I had this dream and idea that I would travel the world and be in Bali and be one of those nomads. And I really got attached to this idea of that lifestyle. And I kind of got into selling like protein shakes. I sold perfume, I did loads of online stuff. So I really got to understand network marketing and what it means to grow a business online. Really hard, by the way, and you've got to do it all the time, which what I will talk about in a minute as well is for a neurodiverse person to be on it constantly, showing up all the time is, for me personally, is really difficult. And I've had a bit of a crash and burnout recently, which I've learned a lot from. Now I'm here talking to you. But yeah, so I found coaching and I was like, thought that you could be a therapist and you have to be in education for 20 years of your life or whatever, 10 years of your life, and obviously I'm dyslexic. Education for me was pretty horrific. I enjoyed school because I loved being with my friends and I loved English and I loved drama and my favourite subjects, but I wasn't academically great, so it was like a constant reminder of not being good enough. And the kind of, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say, which, by the way, if you're not dyslexic and you're watching, or you are dyslexic and watching this, you forget what you're trying to say all the time, so I'm just going to roll with it. If this happens, I'm not editing it out. The fatal flaw, I don't want to say fatal flaw, okay, the annoying thing about being dyslexic is you have such high goals, like you can achieve anything you want to in life, but at the same time you're going against so many challenges. So yeah, I thought being a therapist was completely out of the question for me, because I know I'm just going to be miserable if I have to be in education for my whole life, although I love helping people, and dyslexic people are very good connectors. They connect very deeply with people. We're not like, I don't want to generalize for all people, but we're not really like, I'm not a small talker. I can small talk, but I'm not about that. Like, if I go to a social event or a party and there's a group of people who can only talk about very superficial things and they get uncomfortable if you want to go deeper, it's like a big friendship red flag, really. It's not my vibe. I really like to get on a level with people. I like to, let's fucking sort the world out. Let's, blah, blah. So yeah, I found an advert that was about hypnotize, whatever the word is, and then I kind of went down that route and realised no, that's not for me, and then realised actually you can just be a coach, like you can get accredited, you don't have to be accredited, but I wanted to be accredited. I wanted to learn the skills and the methods, and that took me on a journey of being accredited, going on to do my NLP practitioner, and I started off as a self-love coach. This was before I even thought about my dyslexia being a thing. At this point, obviously been diagnosed at 20. This is me at like 28, wanting to just like get something more in my life, and I still was at that point in my life where I knew I was dyslexic, but I only thought that dyslexia meant that I struggled with reading and writing. I didn't understand that it was literally a completely different way of seeing life. So if you don't know what dyslexia is, by the way, please can you research the definition of it, because this is what changed my life. If you're dyslexic, you think on the right side of your brain. Neurotypical people think on the left side of their brain. That is completely what differentiates us. So we think on the right side of the brain. On the right side of the brain, if you Google it, it is creativity, art, intuition, emotional intelligence, holistic thinking. So my personality, and I'm not about like making your neurodiversity a personality, but it definitely has an impact on the things you like, the choices you make in life, the people you surround yourself with. Left side thinking is all about analytical, it's very kind of more rational, science, maths. Do you see like the difference? Like if I made neurodiversity if I made dyslexia a painting, it would be really just like creative and colourful and splashes of colour. It'd be like quite a abstract painting. And then if neurotypical was a painting, it would be like the most detailed, realistic street art, so very, very different brains. So yeah, I got into coaching, and for the first year, it is difficult to build a coaching business. And I'll do another video just on talking about how I built a business in coaching, and I'm still growing it, by the way. But yeah, I found my dyslexia, and that like blew my mind. And then I started creating content about dyslexia whilst I was kind of still learning about building a business in coaching. And I launched my business directed at helping women with dyslexia, and I got my first client. Absolute beaut, like absolute golden person that I just would never want anyone else to be my first client in dyslexia. And based in America, beautiful 23-year-old girl who just felt lost. And from there, I just got more and more clients, and I started to just see how many women are lost. They are so scared. Like, it's just so many emotions surrounding dyslexia, with the guilt, the shame, the confusion. And I now, the reason I am a coach, not just because I'm accredited, not just because I've been trained, but it's because I genuinely can stand in front of any woman and I can say, don't get me wrong, there are, and men obviously, but I'll talk to you a little bit about why I think it's so significant to work with dyslexic women. I can stand in front of anyone and say, I honestly am proud of my dyslexia. I can't say, I definitely wasn't when I was younger. I definitely was ashamed. I definitely was embarrassed. I definitely felt the trauma from school, and I still do, but to an extent. But I can tell you now, I love my dyslexia. I love my dyslexia because I wouldn't be creating content. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I'm trying to find different paths that fulfill me. I wouldn't have worked so hard to get a first class degree at uni, because I probably would have just messed about and got a 2-2 or whatever and been like, whatever. But it meant so much to me to achieve and to be a high achiever, because I've never been in my life. I wouldn't have chosen the career path I'm in. I work every day with people with learning disabilities, helping to raise their profile, helping to give them a voice. And the rest of my life, I'm also working with dyslexic women, building businesses, so it's who I am. It is my identity, and I'm so proud of my dyslexia. So that is what I give to women. That's why I work with women. It's to help one overcome the pain of the past, the pain of feeling different, all of those tough memories. That's where my NLP comes in. And then it's also about, how can you learn to love your dyslexia? How can you learn to see it as actually something that is it's so corny, but a gift, a strength. So that is my journey of how I became a coach. And what I wanted to really say is something like, I haven't really spoken a lot about my other job that I have as a marketing lead that helps raise the profile of people with learning disabilities, because I wanted to have that identity. I wanted to have that look of like, look at me, I'm off the grid. I just like tap on my laptop and help loads of women. And don't get me wrong, that is a big part of my life, but I'm still growing that business. And there was a bit of a dip after, last year was a big boom, had loads of clients coming in. I went part-time with my current job, my full-time job, and literally it was like everything was stopped. I wasn't getting clients then, and I was having my money went down, and I was just so stressed out every single day. And the energy changed, the focus changed. I was focusing on all the wrong things. And the thing is, I listen to Diary of a CEO every week, and all of the business podcasts you can think of, and I still fell into the trap of worrying about when my next client was going to be. And it's really difficult, but you really cannot get yourself to that mindset, because once you do that, you lose that frequency. And the frequency that I have when I work with my clients, with my ladies, is just genuine, like, we're here to grow and heal. And I was like, do you know what, I'd rather, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my job as well. Like, what I do as a marketing lead for this charity is I get interviews with people with learning disabilities, I make campaigns for them, I'm building a website, an easy read website, so that people with learning disabilities can have access to information and gossip columns. Like, bridging the gap with, again, like helping the world to feel like we're all in this together. And I'm really happy, actually. I'm really happy. It felt like, am I going to feel like it's a step back? But I'm really happy having the two, and I want to talk about it on this channel. I want to talk about it here because I think a lot of people have this perception of people online with these coaching businesses. One, that it's like really easy, and if you're not doing it, then I don't know, but it's really hard. And I think we need to normalize normal life, if that makes sense. I think Instagram has just given us this impression that there's like two groups of people: the sellouts who are in the 9 to 5s who are miserable, and then the people who are like, you know, have their online business that are like loving life. And like, actually, when you have an online business, you work 24 hours a day. Like I've had to take a step back because it wasn't fun anymore. And now I feel like I've got my energy back and I can talk for 16 minutes and I just feel good. So in this video, we've kind of spoken about dyslexia and what it is, my journey with where I've come, you know, what brought me to coaching and talking right now as I am today, and also the reality of building a business, a coaching business, and when you are kind of juggling full-time work whilst you have an online business and everything else in between. So yeah, I think I'll leave this video with to whoever's watching, to you. You hear it every day, and I heard it every day, but you really cannot rush. And some people might say when you're building a business, no, it's all about momentum. It's all about, you know, getting things done straight away. But actually, for a neurodiverse person, for me, that will set you back weeks, because you will hit a point where you just burn out. You're like so disillusioned from everything, and you're so anxious, and you have to take about a month. I've literally taken a month of like having to just completely switch off to everything, and I'm probably now in a place where I need to kind of start again, where I rebuild that connection with my followers and everything. So just take your time. Like, a really good thing that I hear quite often is people can overestimate how much they can do in a year and underestimate how much they can achieve in 10 years. So just make it the long game and look after yourself. But thank you for watching. If there is something specific that you want to hear me talk about, whether that's dyslexia, hormone health, anything like that, please feel free to let me know. I also have a podcast with my beautiful business partner, which is called I Just Don't Know, which is on Spotify and all streaming platforms. And we talk about the links between neurodiversity and hormone health, and also everything else. She is my bestie and I love her so much. So go and check that out as well if you haven't already seen or heard about it. And yeah, I will see you next week. Fingers crossed.